Alright, hey everybody, looks like we are live. Let me get a couple things in order here. There we go. And then I'm going to be having my team let me know if audio is good and how we are operating. And in the meantime, yeah, just making sure. Okay, yeah, getting my team to make sure. So let me know if everything's good. If anybody else can let me know how the audio and visual is so far. I see we got quite a few people in here already, so fantastic. Yep, 5x5. Awesome, guys. Really appreciate it, Imran. Good to see you. Hugo, thanks for jumping over here. Now, there will be a little bit of redundancy since you guys came over Facebook. Eventually, we're going to do both at the same time, so we won't have to, reorder like this, and then I can get a little bit more time because then I don't have to worry about changing things. But for those of you, just bear with me for a couple minutes. I just want everybody to know who's on YouTube to understand and know about this. People have been asking me about my trades. We've been doing pretty well with the trades so far. Options have been a little bit killer because the spreads have been very, very wide, and because also the volatility has been extreme. The VIX has been so high that's been causing the premium to really expand, which is good when things are going up, but when it starts to contract, you need to have a really big move in order to compensate for the lack of theta, well, the theta decay that's happening, and then the lack of the contraction of all the premium, the extrinsic premium that's getting sucked out of the options, basically. So me as just a stock trader, I don't have to deal with any of that. I just have to be in or out, long or short, and everything's linear. So I just don't have to deal with that. And it's kind of nice when things get a little bit crazy like this. The other thing I wanted to mention is that with this increased volatility, things have been moving a lot. So I'm sure you guys have been seeing like the market went up 20% in 2 or 3 days. Well, I got a few positions that like one of them went up 50% in 2 hours. And so we were able to catch that. On average, we're catching stuff, 20, 30%, even maybe a little 40%. So it's been pretty fun catching these really good, strong trades and big moves that come with a market like this. It can be troublesome, but for the most part, we're doing well with it and enjoying it. For the rest of you who are out there in confinement, in quarantine, like what day is it right now? I've been working on my 1977 Camaro. I've been having a good time with it. I took out the the traction bars on the rear end, and so I'm still working on getting my lights up, so I had a headlight when I was working on it. And then this is kind of what we're looking at. I took off the whole rear springs, leaf springs back there, and changed out all the hardware and the polyurethane bushing. So I know I got some car nuts out there, probably enjoy seeing this. And yeah, my hands were dirty for a couple days, but it's good to get back to this kind of thing. I really do enjoy it. So I hope you all are having a fun time out there, trying to make the best of it, and doing what you can out there. All right, so let's see. Interesting. I did not know that Thinkorswim trading is limited to six days trial period. Is that what that is? I'm not sure the details about that, but if you guys are interested, as I was saying earlier in the Facebook one, 60 days. Okay. Interesting. I did not know that. I thought can you just open a demo account? Maybe we're talking about different things, different semantics, but my understanding was that you can open up a paper trade account so you don't have to worry about having it actually linked to a bank account, a brokerage account, and so you can be anywhere around the world because then Thinkorswim doesn't have any regulations on you, and the indicator will still work on a demo paper trading account for Thinkorswim on their platform, and that's how I've had a few people get around some of the brokerage issues for Thinkorswim and still want to be able to use the indicator. So kind of talk to me offline. Let's see if we can figure something out like this and help you out for that. Yeah, Hugo, as far as the trampoline move goes, yes. Trampoline move is when price is underneath the hourly 50 and the Moxie indicator is still above 0. And the way to make sure we don't catch a falling knife and to make sure that a trampoline move setup doesn't just fail is, yes, we look for the 15-minute to actually turn around, because think about it like the head of a snake. Maybe the daily is the tail, and the hourly is the middle section, and the 15-minute is the head. So while I see the body of the move is now in a trampoline move because of the hourly time frame, we gotta wait for the head of the snake, which is the 15-minute time frame, to get actually over some moving averages and start turning up. So yes, that's how we confirm that a trampoline move is actually working, is by going over to the 15-minute time frame. Jamie, maybe I can be a little bit more lenient on that time, right? Because, I mean, right now I am putting an hour into it, and I do have a little bit of time I could spare, so we'll just kind of have to see. It seems as though more and more people have been catching on that we're doing this live thing, because there were a lot of people in that Facebook one, and then we got a lot of people in right here, so yeah, I'm happy to please and make sure we take care of everybody out there. Well, let's see. What's MRMTVIX? Let's see what's going on there. This is the VIX, right? What, triple leverage VIX? Something like that. Kind of a tough situation. I mean, we're coming into the hourly 200. Maybe there's a bit of a double bottom. I don't see anything here, but there is something here on the 15. But we're still underneath these moving averages. We're still underneath these moving averages. But then we got a big gap here. I don't know, man. This one's kind of tough to read. The only thing I could think of is, from just kind of what I've seen price movement do before, is that it might bounce off of this, maybe pop up, but then this would be an inverse trampoline move, because price should not be over the hourly 50 if the Moxie indicator is above 0. So that's a possibility that this might bounce up like that and then roll over. Just totally throwing that one out there. Very much of a speculation, just seeing what it might actually do. Sorry. And then the other thing I've been learning from all this Corona COVID stuff is like not touch your face with your hands. So I've kind of been getting in the habit of like touching it with the back of my wrist. I don't know if that's better. I know like people are supposed to cough in their shoulders or something. So I don't know. I'm trying to see if that works or helps. At least it's better than like doing this and then going touching something, because I don't touch a whole lot of things with like the back of my wrist. So it seemed logical to me. That's what I thought. Yeah, Imran, I know. It's a tough read. It's tough read, but see if that's what happens. Maybe bring this back. I know you're in my room, so let's see if we can bring this back and come up with anything about that. Oh, Rebecca, is that you? Artar? Yeah, I think I see you. Okay, let's see, where do we want to go with this one? Let me kind of talk about a couple things. So, Docu. Yeah, okay. Thanks for the kind words. So what we're looking at here, oh, that's not what we wanted. This is, see how there's a big gap between price and the hourly 50 right there? And what it do? It pulled back right there to the uptrending hourly 50. The Moxie indicator was above 0. Good move. Very, very solid move. Unfortunately, it happened on like a Friday, so I didn't really want to take it. What I am seeing, though, is, say, work kind of doing the same thing. And what it's actually doing is a trampoline move right here. So trampoline move is when price is below the hourly 50 and the Moxie indicator stays above 0. Now, I don't see it yet. This is only developing. So this is what I was kind of talking about before, is that, the younger me would be looking at something like this, be like, oh, well, it's totally gonna happen because, it's setting up for one. So let's just go in now, and I can get in earlier, and maybe I'll get a better price, and I'll be in there first, and then I'll make more money. And inevitably, it would not finish the rest of the checklist, and it would just fall apart. And it was because it wasn't my rules were bad. It wasn't my checklist that was bad. It was that I wasn't following my rules because I jumped the gun. So I see something like this, and now the more constrained and understanding of me knows that I need to wait for something like this until I see what I need to see. And what we can do is then look at something like CTXS. And Rebecca, I don't know if you were in my channel soon enough to take advantage of CTXS, but this was a picture-perfect trampoline move. You see how price was below the hourly 50 and the Moxie indicator was above 0? That one was fantastic. And there was even, this is what I'm looking for a little bit on work, is that there was a double bottom in there, and that was an elf shoe. You can see here's your leg, here's your heel, here's the arch of your foot, there's the ball of your foot, there's the elf toe. And look at the Moxie indicator right there. Yeah, right? I know. It looks sexy. It was funny. I made some presentations, and I was talking about the elf shoe thing, and I had like some black stiletto boot that was kind of showing it. Someone's like, wow, nice foot fetish you got out there. It's like, I just had to come up with examples. It's all right. I'm gonna be like the foot guy now, but elf shoe, it works. Hey, if it makes money, it's better than spending money on boots like that. And yeah, so this one's worked out really really well. We pulled it off at the top, pocketed the cash. Now we're happy with it. Yeah. Let's kind of bop around at some of these other ones. Apple. Okay, so my general thesis with the market. Now, I could be wrong. We're going to need more time to figure out if I am wrong or how this goes. I'm looking basically for a larger form of this elf shoe thing. I'm basically looking for the double bottom, the elf shoe on the daily chart for all these things, SPY included, all these individual tickers. That's generally what I'm looking for. Yeah, you guys are funny. And so Apple kind of falls in that category too. And what that means, so here's your leg, here's the heel, here's the arch of the foot. I'm looking for the ball of the foot, something like there. We don't know yet. And then I'd like to see the elf toe. Now, probably it's going to be more like that would be great, but we got to then watch out for this overhead daily 50. It's kind of roughly my target if we can do that. And what this is doing is it's starting to set up trampoline moves on the hourly chart all over the place, all over the place. And that's basically when, as I explained just a minute ago, when price goes below the hourly 50 and the Moxie indicator's above 0. So this is kind of what I'm looking for. I know. So Hugo, you kind of remind me that one of my mentors, she would draw patterns, like she'd look at price patterns and stuff, and she would basically draw balloon animals. She's like, okay, this is the alligator, and you want to see the mouth of the alligator start opening up, and then like, okay, here's a giraffe, and then like here's a gazelle, and it's like, okay, I like these visual references and pictures for what we do, but it's like I'm gonna have to go through and be like, okay, the gazelle is when this does this, and the hyena is when this happens, and then we're gonna have to like cross pollinate and who knows what, and then we got too many. So just think about maybe there's a snake in the shoe. How about that? All right, let me go back to the SPY because I want to be able to cover this one for anybody else who wasn't able to check it out. And what I was originally looking at is that there's a gap right here, which is also basically, you can see that right here, and price couldn't get past the underside of the daily 21 EMA. And it just couldn't do it. And yesterday was the confirmation of that. And we got that confirmation here when price broke the 15-minute 50. And you can see here that the Moxie indicator, one of them never even got over 0. So that was a big tell. I was looking at that yesterday. I was like, oh, okay, there's some information, market-generated information. This is not going to work out. So I had to pull a lot of things off and just really take off a lot of risk, capture the good profits that we had, and say, okay, I think I see what's happening here now. So what I did then is I've kind of been looking at this. Now, fibs aside, I have been looking at price probably coming down and like testing this level just because you can kind of visually see that there's a level, because you can see that there's a level right there, and then you can see that there's a level, it's kind of hard to see, but there's a level right there, and you can just kind of draw a line and say that looks like a lot of price support, a lot of area where price probably want to go in, a lot of choppy around, a lot of support. So I ran a fib, and look what this fib did. Now, I'm not much of a fib person, fib guy, but I ran from low to high, and look where the 50 and the 618 retracement is. It's literally right in that area. So I'm looking at this, and I'm expecting so far the trampoline move, because right now we are on the hourly 50. I don't think that's going to hold. It may hold today. I don't think it's going to hold over the next few days. I would generally expect price to probably go somewhere down in this area and do a trampoline move before it then turns back up. Just speculation. We're going to have to follow this day by day and see how it goes. The other path of that is that now that we are underneath the 15-minute 50, I'm going to be watching for price to stay under there and as it's guided down. Now, it might bounce up and continue to get rejected. It might just go sideways and down. We're not too sure, but you can see how price followed the 15-minute 50 to the upside. I'm looking for price to follow it to the downside. And yeah, Kirk, I'm with you on that. I do think it's oversold right now. I think that there is basically a gap. I'm not sure if this gap needs to be filled perfectly, but I just think something needs to happen there. Let me show you a couple of examples that I'm going for. Let's ED, for example. Look at this. What I would have liked to have seen is here on the 15-minute. You see how price actually right there it came back and got tapped and rejected by the underside of the 15-minute 50. That's what I'm looking for the market to do. Now, it didn't do it yesterday. Like yesterday, it got under and then dropped. So now I'm wondering if this might kind of come back up like that and hit it and then go back down. I'm keeping an open mind about this because, we can't entirely predict it. Let's look at WEC. This one was much clearer. This is really what I'd like to have seen. You see how price crossed through the 15-minute 50, then came back up, and look what it did. It hit the underside of a turning down 15-minute 50 and then just got hammered. Perfect, right? Like that's what I would have loved to have seen. And then you could see that there was room to go down because look at where price was in relation to the hourly 50. You see how there's a big gap? I mean, that was like an arbitrage moment. You're just like, hey, there's a gap that needs to be filled and there's room to go down, so you can just take that trade right there. Let me show you. I showed you Ed. What was the other one? IPHI. Is that one? No, it's going the wrong direction. This might start. Look at this. See what I'm looking at? You see how price is now starting to get trapped under the underside of the 15-minute 50? This might be the next to go. So let's just say theoretically, if we were to take a short here because it's getting stuck underneath the 15-minute 50, then that could go down and look at this gap between price and the hourly 50. So depending on what you guys want to do. Now I know a lot of you are fancy options traders out there, so depending on the stock and how it works and if this works for you, maybe because options, like trying to go directional with an option isn't really working right now because of the high premiums and the extrinsic value and the theta decay and all that. So, and maybe if we're only looking at a target like this, it won't work. So maybe you guys can do a spread, or what you can do is you can sell some, like a call spread up there, because if price won't go there, then you make money. So these are some of the things that I talk about to myself and say, because of my trading and because of how I read the market and because of the Moxie indicator, I oftentimes can tell where price won't go. And so that's when I need to take advantage of option strategies like this and sell something up here because I know price won't go up there. Because look at this, price up, indicator down, and now we're getting stuck underneath the 15-minute 50 for the second time. And we kind of see the writing on the wall with the market and what it's going to be doing. So something like that might be a strategy for you. I know. What I'd really prefer is if I could just have somebody do this kind of trading for me. I'd just be like, hey, IPHI, not going up. Can you set up an options strategy for me and take care of it? So yeah, I have to do that myself, unfortunately. It would be great if I could just like own a trading company, talk to the other traders. Maybe I should get Sam on board and be like, Sam, work up a trade for me, because this is what's going to happen. Like I just tell people what's going to happen, and then they lay out the trade. That would be fantastic. And that's why I like to just trade stocks, because all I can say is price is going to go there or not going to go there, and I just buy or sell. So let's see, what kind of percentage do we even have here? So if I went from here to, where is it? If I just go from here to here, it's 8%. Me as a stock trader, I'd be okay with that. I throw a few $1,000s on that, 8%. Linear, I could be okay with that. Yeah, I know. Frank, just because I'm surrounded by them doesn't mean it's just like osmosis. But yeah, I am surrounded by the best. You'd be surprised at how busy I am. I do have my own channel. I do have to look out for stuff like this. And so yeah, I gotta be looking out for all this. Yeah, let me speaking of that, let me just kind of run this through one more time because this is a live thing, and holy cow, there's even more people in here. Yeah, so this is my channel, simplertrading.com/Moxie. This is where I send out my push alerts. I show people how I trade. I actually take these trades and I send them out. So if you guys are interested in my trade alert service, you can find it here. And for the rest of you who keep asking me about the Moxie indicator itself, this is where you can find it, simplertrading.com/stocks. And that's where you can pick up the indicator and my class. It's a 4.5-hour class that tells you everything, like soup to nuts, about how I actually trade and how I do this and how I educate people about it. So if anybody's interested, just want to make sure that public service announcement is out there in case anybody was wondering where to go. We'll post a couple links in the comments and all that. Moat and shoes cart, yeah, I know. we come up with a handful of things. Let's see, J&J, what's going on with that one? So Andres, most everything is doing the same thing. Like everything's following the market right now. And look, I mean, it ran right into the underside of a downtrending hourly 200, and generally this is the arch of the foot right there. So I'm expecting price to keep coming down. And same thing, like when you look at something like this, these are kind of layups. You know, price running right into a moving average, and as of yesterday, you see how price closed below the 15-minute 50. That's why we're getting a plunk down today. So, chunk down, yeah. Eventually, I would imagine that price will come down here. Let me see if I can just eyeball that. So what do we do? Eyeball that at like 121, 120. Let's call it 121. Let's see what a fib does. Let's see where that thing goes. Let's see if I can be right about this. Oh, hey, look at that. How about that? So the trampoline move that I just eyeballed would be right smack between the 618 and the 50% retracement. How's this? How's that? How's that? I got my eye trained. I don't even need fibs. But yeah, that would be my target if we were to go long again, or if we're looking to short something. Now, I think that shorting something is kind of risky because we're only looking for a little opportunity. But if you guys trade spreads or you want to sell something, then I think that would be working. But I'd say I think that, if I can draw that a little bit better, I think that would be basically our target. That could set us up for a trampoline move. And then I got to see, but I would imagine we would be going long after that. I could be completely wrong. We got to let time go, but I'm at least looking for price to probably go about there. FXY, probably don't even... that's currency. I mean, so far, you can see here it's been following the 15-minute 50 pretty well. At some point, this thing's going to get too far away from the hourly 50 and it's going to want to come back. Now, that took a heck of a long time for that to come back so far, but I think this one's a little bit weaker. I think this time it's weaker because you see how the Moxie indicator crossed right there. So Enduro, this comes down to a timing and a power thing. The closer that the Moxie indicator fires near the 50, like that, it's much stronger. Notice that the Moxie indicator didn't cross until here. It's very, very delayed. So this move, I believe, is now going to be weaker than that first move, and it's because the Moxie indicator crossed much later compared to where price crossed the 50. So yeah, I'm looking at that. Thanks, Hugo. Thanks. Let's see, another one that we were looking at. AAOI. Yeah, I just want to keep showing these examples because so many things are doing exactly the same thing. And so when you start seeing a common pattern, then we can start applying it to all the various tickers that we look at. So once again, we generally had the hourly 200 overhead. We also had the daily 21 overhead. It just couldn't get past it, right? Now, there was a little bit of a trampoline move right there. There might be a little bit more because we've been seeing this and this has been going down, and you see how the Moxie indicator's below zero. So I think that there's probably going to be another retest. Where's it going to go? How's it going to go? I'm not sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if maybe this comes down here again and then maybe we go up. We're going to have to wait and see. But I wouldn't be long this. And then we do need to be careful about the short side because I'm just not sure that there's going to be too much room on the short side. Kind of like if we look at Win. Now, Win, special circumstance, like they're having a hard time. Like they are just bleeding cash because of this whole coronavirus thing. Price ran right into the 21. Price was way unsupported right there, and then you can see when price broke. I mean, here you go. Like you follow the 15-minute 50 up, it breaks, and then you follow the 15-minute 50 down. So, there you go. Now let's try. Hugo, let's try that Fibonacci thing again. Let's see what this thing's going to do from low to high. Now, as I said, I think this is going to be a special circumstance because they really are having a tough time. I have a feeling this thing's going to go further. Just because I'm just not seeing anything. So I have a feeling that one's not going to work out in that way. GSX, how's that thing going? Well, you can see I've been trading this a few times. We made some pretty good, 9% real quick right there. Generally, I would be looking at this, and I would say that this thing should go. So Felix, I'd be looking at this, price bouncing off of the daily 50 and the Moxie indicator above zero. We got a squeeze. Looks like it wants to fire long. We also got another squeeze here. And this looks good. I mean, I'd generally say, you know, there's a double bottom. There's our positive divergence on the Moxie indicator. And then if we zoom in, I mean, this looks pretty good. As I said, this is on my list. I've traded it a few times. But price looks to be holding right there. It looks like it's coming into support of the hourly 50 and the Moxie indicators above 0. Now, I'd love to see a little bit more confirmation. Hopefully this thing doesn't just explode on us if I'm correct, if you're going long for this one. Felix, is that the direction you were looking for? This can be a little tricky to read right here, mostly because price just has not been moving. So, you know, the Moxie is a momentum-based indicator and it just hasn't been moving. But boy, that's some wild movements right there. That probably would have taken out my stop just accidentally, because I probably would have had my stop like that. But if this can hold, this looks good. If this can hold, it looks great. Yeah, and generally the daily chart is still in an uptrend. But isn't this? I'm gonna have to look into this because I thought it was energy, but I'm gonna have to look into this a little bit more. Yeah. So as I said, this has been on my list. We'll have to see if it needs market support. I'm gonna have to do a little bit more research on what this thing is. Because I did catch a couple shorts real quick on it, but as I said, if this thing kind of holds up, it's looking good. Moxie price trigger, got the hourly 50 tuning up, and it's at least holding. So, yeah, we're gonna have to keep on this one. Let's see, MSFT keeps going down. So Andres, I think I have an idea of what's going on here. So, in my eyes, and I was talking about this earlier, you see how price is going up, but the moving average is going down? You don't want to trade perpendicular, you want to trade parallel. And so far, it was parallel on the 15-minute until it wasn't. And also, notice that price ran right into the underside of the daily 50. The daily 50. Frank, yeah, well, this will be on YouTube, and then I can also put in the comments the replay for my webinar. I think I posted that in the very beginning, so I'll make sure that goes out again and we'll have that posted. But yeah, replays are available, so you can come check this stuff out. This stuff lives on YouTube, lives on Facebook, but yeah, look right there. So ultimately, I'm looking for all of these things to basically do the same thing. Let's see, if I were to look at this and I just said, I think price is probably going to pull back to there, so what is that, like 146-ish? Let's see what the Fibonacci says. How about that? Here's the 618 is at 145. So somewhere between 145 and 148 is probably where I would expect price on Microsoft to pull back to do a trampoline move. You know, trampoline move right there. And then we'll see if it can go up after that. We don't know for sure. That's just my thought, but that's what I'm looking for. We'll have to keep watching it. But now the fact that price is underneath the 15-minute 50, it's going to be following the 15-minute 50 down until it goes otherwise. All right. Well, that's my time. I got to get ready for my next segment. And once again, I'll just kind of leave you guys with this. Remember, simplertrading.com/stocks if you want the indicator, and if you want the 4-hour, 4.5-hour class that I teach, you know, from beginning to advanced. I mean, it covers everything. It's everything I know about how I trade and how I go about with this stuff. And then if anybody's interested in actually joining me and, you know, learning from me and following the trades and the alerts that I put out there, you know, I talk to my class, talk to the subscribers. We got some really good traders in there. It's fun really interacting with you guys. I love it. I'm in my home studio right now because we're all under quarantine. But come check it out, simplertrading.com/Moxie, and I'll just make sure all this stuff is in the link. So, yeah, you guys are really catching on. So this was a great section. We had a lot of people in here. So thanks for everybody chatting in there. Sorry I can't, you know, read everything real quick, but I do enjoy it. And thanks for coming out. Hope you guys are doing all right being in quarantine and probably locked up in the house for a while. So as I said, I'm in my home office and just living life as usual for me. All right, everyone. See you later. Take care. Catch you later.